one. This could get extremely sketchy. Kerry Quintera gets right down to the bottom.
And he missed the turn one. He goes wide. I'm not sure what happened to him back there, and that's a Ferrari turned. I believe that is Eric Whitner. It is.
In the early stages, dramas. But there's a mistake.
Actually,
It's a mistake from Schwenkler, and Adam Thompson sails on through to the lead of the GT4 race. And, well, after Adam Thompson himself made a mistake in the early stages. Down into turn one as a crash immediately, and he's in the back, and there's two cars off. He's one of the BMWs, and I think it's one of the Mercedes as well. It's Appa and Mailing, and there's more drama at the back, and Terry's involved in the Mercedes.
On hour and a half, it is going to be Edoardo Pecorini leading us away, and it's a slightly controversial start as he sort of cuts off the Porsche down into that final corner, but leads us away into turn one by 0.5 of a second.
On this front straightaway, Eero Nam on pole, Rada Savage second, and they're going to get on the gas. It's green flag here at Bathurst for the American Muscle Series. Safe for a few cars and a few battles. That was one of them. That was a big moment from Hollis. What a save from that driver. He's going to lose the spot to Rob Hartley, but what a save.
A bump from the 24 car will draft Hosea through potentially as they go down into turn 3. Can Hosea get to the... No, they crash behind, and Hosea is collected as well. There's 3 of them, and they're going to spew out across the track, just about able to survive these guys.
Trying to attack Matt Malone for 6th. We're on to the final lap of this first of the 20-minute race, and there's one. They make contact. And Matt Malone almost spins around. I don't think he'll try and get the position, Jay Bass, but he's going to lose out to Phil Keck in doing so.
Hello and welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of the first ever event of this Spec 5 World Tour here on SMB. My name is Adam Thompson, and I am joined by the always lovely Alex Anderson.
They fought too hard for second. Camden Hibbett is going to win at Phillip Island. Side by side for third. Ronnie Coates is going to get that spot. Mitchell Peak is going to get second there. No, something happened to Ashley Lyle. Sean Hayes just won that race. As here we go down the back straightaway. This will be the best passing opportunity for these guys. Soto gets the outside. Oh! Soto around, collects Ronnie Coates. Rui Coimbra is going to run away with this one, as that is a massive accident on the last lap. Everybody scrambles around him. A 3-car wreck. Coimbra has to serve the slowdown. Rad J leads into the carousel. Simon Foweather now has to try and close the gap.
And that's what I kept saying this entire time since the pit cycle. This second group needed to work together because you never know what's going to happen. Wait for that white flag. Wait for it all to shake out. Now Tom Rathje has a big gap. It's going to be very hard for Foweather to close that up in these remaining corners.
Making a move on Southwell, long up to 7th place. Jason Southwell down, as Jamie Southwell, I should say, down into 8th place. Southwell losing even more time. Marcel and Justin. Oh, that's wide from P2 there. He's in the barrier. That's Luke Mann. He's demoted to 4th. Diego Airy is away as well with Justin Hall alongside. It's very much line of stern until you get to about 6th or 7th place when everything starts. Oh, Billy Bowerman's been tagged. I think Bowerman, tagged Alves. He picked up a little bit of damage, or maybe, in fact, Mike has slowed down. Oh, he's been tagged by a Porsche. He spins round somehow. Manages to get that car under control, but he's spearing across towards the inside.
Badgers, all those GT3 cars coming down. Adam Day leading the way. Bjorn Staines, the high placing AM guy, up into the 3rd spot right now as they're all packing in down the straightaway now into turn 1.
Five lights, and we're underway here for the XSLR here at Laguna Seca. Randall McGrew with an excellent start. Adam Thompson, not the best one. Here comes Rob Schwenkler here. Fantastic start from him down into turn number 1. The Andretti hairpin, he gets there. He gets to the inside of Randall McGrew. through turns 1 and 2. Adam Thompson still back there in third, didn't get the greatest start. Randall McGrew sets his right sides off track. Once again, Adam Thompson quick to the gas, but Whitner not that far behind here as they round 1 and 2 for the first time on this restart. Bobby Ross goes wide there as Adam does as well. Randall McGrew is through into third place, and currently Sorm and Schwenkler side by side for fifth.
Way through, we look down on the kid airborne once more. This course, Kevin Irwin, bit of trouble here previously, but Howard really looking like he's under a bit of pressure, losing that place to Thompson. Could lose it further as there's put contact down in the midfield there. Severe, bouncing across the curves, the pair of them, and Thompson's finally going to run on him. He's going to be up the inside on the run down to the gate turn, and surely this is going to be from the lead. He backs out of him. Schenkler runs wide, but Thompson's finally got get.
On the lead, turn 1 is going to be interesting. Let's see if everybody gets through it. Looks like there's a little bit of a bump there, but everybody's getting through it okay. Now into turn 2, turn 3. We're 3 wide right in front of them. Oh, we got cars everywhere.
Big trouble. Kingsbury, you need to work on closing this gap and then maybe play the patience game. Make sure your tires are nice and cool. Don't overuse them. And just stay there in a good position as we see a pass for the lead. Hutcherson making the big move into turn 1, young wall.
Like Kingsbury's trying to go around the out or the inside, but it turns into the outside, and there's contact. Marwan did not leave him any room.
Yeah,
oh no!
Get together.
Oh no!
Where he should be.
So what happened there, Mike? What did he do? Did he suck his tire off?
I'm gonna go mute now.
Back to the leader, Elias Roman.
We welcome you all to slow motion for this presentation of the Formula V Weekend Warriors Series, and we're about to grab the start in just a few moments' time. It's going to be Megan Overstreet leading them to green with Ladar right alongside. We're waiting for that green flag to come at, and the drivers are now on their way. Some of these drivers may be a little bit more aggressive towards the end of this race, as side by side with Love and DeGassis heading into 5.
Oh, it's close. It's a bit treacherous on the corner. Rex is just singling run wide there, Ron.
Down the running order, Love and Brewster, meanwhile, they have been in the tow and they've seen all these drivers try and do their own maneuvers. They definitely have something cooking behind the wheel of those FV race cars. As Montgomery gets that move done, one's running at the back. Well, not actually running right now, I don't believe, as there's a spinner with Ladar.
Oh no.
Oh, and there's contact as well. I think he got ran into. I'm not sure who that was. They made contact with possibly Hank Mel. I'm not too sure.
In the league, we are live for the first time on slow motion broadcasting with the FF Weekend Warriors. We're at Sebring this weekend. It's going to be a blast. I saw a little bit of rain here in the practice session, but we'll get to that here in 1 second. My name is Adam Thompson. I'm joined in the booth by Randall McGrew.
These three going right at it. We see you're getting really, really squirrely. There's
oh no!
Some contact. Oh no! Jurg and Antonio, the two Masters leaders, both with issues and now dropping down the order.
Losing a lot of places back as dicing through the curbs. Our lead 2. As that's Instaman just slossing it up the inside through McIntyre there. Beautifully done by the Icelandic driver as it's a big incident happened behind somewhere. Gonzaga losing a lot of places back.
Almost touching at that point. They're around there heading into the closing stages of the track. Not quite there yet. Heading through what I'm calling the horseshoe, but let's not get into my drawing skills at this point. Nothing but clear track ahead of them at this point, so no one should be able to interfere in that battle. Side by side, nearly had contact there. That's going to put Kabanka on the inside for this next hairpin. This could be what decides it, and he's gone right on the outside, actually trying to cover off the car. I do wonder if Barry is going to be close enough to potentially slipstream. They've got 2 corners left to go. This is penultimate one now. Barry right up close, 0.3 of a second. I'm not sure it's going to be close enough, 0.2 of a second. He's got to keep his foot on that loud pedal. Catches a little bit of a curve, but has Kabanga done it? Barry going to the inside, and Kabanga gets it.
The field in Castro's hands, and he's going immediately. Gets a good jump there over green and is pulling away. He is gapping early. even moving over to try to break up any sort of slipstream or help that inside line, making sure Green has his hands full coming into T1.
Be your chance. Did Jason give Antonio just a little bit of a slow up? It doesn't look like it. Antonio down to the inside. Hopefully going to be able to make this move. Oh, that was close.
Soto both coming very hot with a head of steam. Plava going up to try to move out of the way and give up the slipstream.
Here comes Gilliland.
Slow down. Gilliland coming in, going to try to challenge for this podium. They're going to go too wide.
Oh, no!
No! Gilliland and Plava come together. Gilliland's going to come back across the line in 4th place.
You're quite going to get there. There's a little bit of a lock up there from the 46 car. He's gone deep.
Whoa. I don't know how everybody was able to get through that. That could have been absolute tears for that front runner.
Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Slow Motion Broadcasting, and welcome back to the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. This is round number 12 of this season, coming to you today from Road Atlanta. My name is Maunz. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Adam Thompson and Randall McGrew, and in the virtual production hall we have Guido Marzucchi. We're bringing the Spec Racer Ford season to a close, and we're bringing the entirety of the Weekend Warriors season here for season 1 of 2025 to a conclusion. It has been a brilliant 12 weeks up to this point, but Adam, we got some Spec Racer Ford action to bring today to a close.
We have got some amazing Spec Racer Ford action to bring to a close, but first I want to bring up that intro video. Randall, you're pretty cute. In case anybody is going to go back and watch this later or right now, if you guys look at a guy with long red hair, he's in a cowboy hat, he's sitting next to my buddy Jimmy, or if that's not good enough, Randall's reclined in a chair as well. Just look for the red hair. You'll know who Randall is. Randall, you're a cutie.
It's not red. It's blonde. It's my facial hair that's red, and it keeps throwing you off. I don't have red hair.
You spent a week and a half at my house. It's red, Randall.
I'm not that colorblind. I know what color my hair is. But
all right, whatever you say. All right, anyways, moving back on to the race here. So, yeah, we've got about 15 minutes left in qualifying here. Yes, Road Atlanta is going to be an absolute blast. This is the short course as well, so get rid of that whole backside of the track. After the S's, they come down, they go through turn 5, and it is a hard right. In these cars, it's almost full throttle. Almost. It's not quite, but it is a very, very fast track, Randall, and I see a lot of draft opportunities.
There are a lot of draft opportunities, not as much as on the full course, and you kind of get rid of one really good overtaking spot. But out of the short courses on the service, Road Atlanta short is one of my favorites. We'll see that tricky cut through probably catch a few drivers out, especially early doors when the tires aren't completely up to temperature. But it should be a good race nonetheless.
I think it will be, and we just saw Stevie Ray go through one of the more difficult parts on the track. We're going to be talking about this a lot with the way the Weekend Warriors do their off-track limits. Going through turn number 3, a lot of people are going to try to cut to the left side there over that curb. It's very, very easy to get an off-track there, Ron, so we're going to have to keep, especially with the 40-minute race, we're going to have to keep an eye on those off-tracks.
Yeah, gonna have to worry about those incident points. It's caught some drivers out thus far this season. Have a feeling the final race of this season is going to be absolutely no exception. The short version of Road Atlanta. If you look at the track map, it kind of looks like a chicken nugget, and much like the chicken nuggets at McDonald's, there is no chicken in it at all. These drivers are going to be pushing it to the limit of control, and one of them is going to be this man, Felix Samoa's in the number 31 car. Let's pull up the championship points, because this is Champions Weekend here for the Weekend Warriors, so we do have some trophies to hand out at the end of this third race of the weekend and the 12th of this season. Here's how it looks in Spec 1. Jason Green, as it stands currently, holds on to the championship lead at 781 points. Felix Samoa is slotted in second, right behind in P2 at 775. Now, how it works in terms of drop rounds and all of that stuff is this. If Felix Samoa finishes this race in third, I believe he will be the champion. That is according to the professor himself, Jason Green. That is by his omission on the racing line, which, by the way, you can catch on Tuesdays over on the Ray Esports YouTube channel. But that was Jason's own words. The fact that that is how it would look out in terms of Felix. If he finishes third and above, doesn't matter what Jason does, Felix would be the champion. But Jason Green certainly going to be risking it in that 160 car. Showed a heck of a lot of pace during that Formula Ford race earlier on, Adam. I have a feeling that Jason is going to be gunning for that crown.
Yeah, Jason's going to be elbows out here, especially if he sees Felix around him. That's going to be a very, very big deal. But Spec 2, I think, may be already tied up by the janitor himself. No, never mind. Just kidding. Ben Rycroft up here with 570 points. I was thinking of Masters, by the way. But yeah, Ben Rycroft with 570. Right now, we're looking for Ben. He's sitting at about 14th place. Dan Witzak is very, very close to him in 17th place in qualifying right now. But now we got to go over to the Masters. The janitor himself, Jorg Monty, is absolutely cleaning up Brad Cathcart with 513 points and Tom Gradwell with 487. Randall, the guy is fast. Jorg Monty is fast this season.
It's the season of Yerk. There's no other way to put it. He's been winning everywhere, winning every championship, it seems like. He almost won the overall points championship in the Formula Fords. That's how good he did from the Masters division. The only person better than him in the Formula Fords was Ian Joyner, and it looked touch and go there for a while for Ian.
Mm-hmm. It did, but Ian obviously pulled that out here. Ron, I'm going to do it to you again. We're about 8.5 minutes through the qualifying session. I'm going to ask you, before we start this race, give me your Spec 1, Spec 2, and Masters winner for the final race, and give me your overall winner as well.
This is going to be tough. I have a feeling that Felix Samoas is going to get the job done. He has been stupidly quick in that number 31 car all throughout this season. Has a couple of wins to his name thus far, but really the amount of wins that he has at the moment doesn't really do it justice. He has been in contention for many race wins all throughout the season.
I got to cut you off, Ron. Hey, can we go to Stevie Ray, please? We are about to get an onboard lap with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Randall. Stevie Ray has just crossed the line.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get on board with Stevie Ray to get a guide lap around here as we see him. I'm hearing we're going to do it next time by.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Ron. Continue.
Yes, so I think Felix Samoas is certainly going to be a driver that we have to consider in terms of winning the Spec 1 class and taking yet another overall win. Has a very good shot to get the job done, certainly showing that pace in this qualifying session. In terms of Masters, I feel like it's hard to bet against Jörg Monty, but of all the Weekend Warrior series, this Spec Racer Ford season and this Spec Racer Ford series has been the one that he has been the least dominant in. So it's not completely locked down as to whether or not he'll be able to get that done. Plus, these races can be rather hectic, so you can't put all your chips and put all of your eggs into one basket. Otherwise, you're probably going to end up screwed. In Spec 2, very good question, but Randall, I'll pass it off to you for the track guide with Stevie. If he toes back to the pits here, I swear to God.
It looks like he's just yielding to another driver, but he's coming through turn 1 here. Very fast first corner for the track. He misses the apex a little bit there, but given that he had a bad entry, not surprising. You want to keep the car to the left as you come through turn 2, and then go for that blind apex there in turn 3. Try not to cut it too much and get that off track. Then it's down into turn 4. Also known as the S's, all through this is all considered turn 4. Turn 5 would normally be to the left, but now they're going to take the cut through to the right. You hear a little bit of a lift. He's going to stay in 4th gear as he goes through the cut through. It's a very long sweeping right-hander that spits you out onto the back straightaway. This is going to be your best passing opportunity here coming down. This, I guess, would be turn 6. Normally it's 10A and B for the chicane that causes a lot of people grief. You want to clip the good apexes there. You want to get that second apex a lot, though it can unsettle the car. Then you're going to go over the blind crest, bring the car to the left, try to open up this last corner as much as possible, stay in that throttle, keep the wheel straight, cross the line instead of flying lap.
Very, very short lap around here, and I think that's something that we're going to be talking about. It's only about 1 minute and 1 second around here. If you're looking at Felix Samoas, obviously not many people are going to get into the 101s. Felix is extremely fast, Ron, and like you mentioned, he's got a good chance.
Oh, he has got a very good chance in that number 31 machine. Been quick all throughout this season. There's been some controversy. Some controversy here, you see.
Some controversy?
There's been some controversy, yes. Yeah, I'm speaking in tongues already.
Sis boom ba.
Sis boom ba. Describe the sound made when a sheep explodes. But Felix Samoas has been very fast all throughout this season. Has had a couple wins slip away from him, either through controversy on track that stripped him away the win, or controversy on it that led to him stripping himself of the victory. Suzuka a couple of weeks ago, unfortunate way for that race, and he got himself disqualified from all that, which leads to this championship scenario that we find ourselves involved in at the moment. Adam, I think he can speak on record to the competitor that Jason Green really is, and Felix Samoas, I can speak about him. About 2 years ago, up to this point, it'll be 2 weeks in about a week and not 2 weeks, 2 years in a couple of weeks. That'll be the 2-year anniversary of my first ever Weekend Warriors broadcast. It was a Spec Racer Fords at this very track. I was doing it with Tim Cox. He had no idea how to pronounce my last name, as most people really don't. But Felix Samoas was involved in the fight for the win in that race. He is quick, but he's got a hard charger with Maurizio Nazelli slapping up to the pole.
Hey, Ron, my name's Adam Thompson. Nice to meet you. I only met you 2 weeks ago. Anyways, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ron. What do you got to say, Ron?
I will hand you the shovel so I don't dig myself into a deeper hole.
Yeah, no, Mauricio Nazelli is extremely fast. That's another driver we got to look out for here. Mauricio and Felix back at it. You mentioned Suzuka. There were some very, very interesting exchanges that went on between Mauricio and Felix, and I do want to say this one more time for everybody on the broadcast. How Mauricio and Felix handled how that race went afterwards. They handled it perfectly. It was the people in the chat that caused all of the problems. Mauricio and Felix were okay with all of the outcomes that happened there. You need to let the drivers figure out what's going on track. Those are the people that really matter in general. So all you keyboard warriors, stay the hell out of the chat if you think you have something to say. Speaking of Felix Samoa's here, you can see Joshua Wilkie actually back there in the background. Randall, I'm going to take this to you again, man. That corner cut there going through turn number 3 is going to be a big deal because it's 40 minutes. You cannot cut that corner every time and expect to not have any type of penalty at the end of the race.
If they were running the full course, it wouldn't be as much of a concern, but since they're doing the shortened version, they're going to see that particular corner many more times. They're going to see it as many as 38, possibly even 39 times. So you're absolutely right. They could get you into trouble very early and put you on the back foot when it comes to racing against other people, or just give you a penalty outright. So it's something you need to take very, very special care with. The biggest problem though, is that in order to be fast through that section of the track, you need to be on the absolute limit of that off track, cutting that curb. Otherwise, you're giving up tenths each lap.
Mm-hmm. You are. Sorry. Every time I see Ed Sancinelli's name, because he's been on the podcast, I have to yell Frito now. We are now looking at Edgar Sancinelli sitting back there in 25th. And Randall, I believe this is a driver that has been a big part of American Muscle Series for quite a long time.
Yes, he's one of the drivers. He's one of the drivers that's been around forever. He did take one season off to take care of some personal stuff. No problems there, but he's back. He's been back with a vengeance, and we're glad to have him around. It's good to see him in other leagues too.
No, it really is. And again, I gotta speak on Edgar here very, very quickly. Edgar is one of the better people I've ever met. One of the more fun podcasts we've had on Tuesday night on the Racing Line. Absolutely amazing to actually talk to Edgar. I knew Edgar through you, Randall. So it was pretty cool to see, how everything comes together there. But we are watching Jason Green now. Jason Green, by the way, you mentioned Jason Green and his competitive spirit, Ron. He's sitting back in 9th.
Yeah, so he's playing me like an absolute fiddle as it stands at the present moment. I mean, hey, in these Spec Racer Ford races, you could start in P9. You could start really anywhere in this field, and you can find yourself cutting your way through the field like a hot knife through butter. I want to raise one name, though, a little bit farther in the back. Joshua Soto in the 07 car. He is a furiously quick driver. So despite the fact he may be sliding 31st at the moment in this qualifying session, we may very well see that 07 car be a big thorn in the side to the drivers at the front of the field.
Everybody knows that Joshua Soto name. I don't know if anybody in iRacing does not know that Joshua Soto name, Randall. I think you can speak on Joshua Soto a little bit more as well. The guy never qualifies that well, but my God, does he come through the field.
There's been a number of leagues that have instituted a Joshua Soto rule where it requires all drivers to at least put forth an effort to set a qualifying lap time, because he was so prone to not setting a qualifying lap, starting at the back and then still challenging for wins. So he may be out of practice right now, so maybe not showing the pace here in this quali session. Give him 10 minutes in that car though, and watch him start cutting his way through the field pretty quickly.
I need to talk about 10 minutes in the car as well. If we can go back to Jason Green real quickly while we are looking here at Tortello. No, that is the number 27 car, actually, that we're looking at right now. But Tortello right in front of him. But Jason Green, a driver a little bit in front. Who is that? That is the number 27 car of... Why do I not have that on my overlay? We're going to have to figure that out because I know that driver. But anyways, Jason Green, a driver in Cross Series League Racing. Give him about 10 minutes in a sprint car, and that guy can drive it to the front. And you're going to be able to see Jason Green just a little bit later tonight, or a little bit later today, actually, in the Cross Series League Racing series. Yeah, I need to change that name. I can see why the commentators get all messed up with that. But Trenton Kramer is who we're looking at right now. But yeah, keep an eye on Jason, especially this afternoon, but especially tonight in the 410s. The guy knows what he's doing. Now, looking again at Maurizio Nazelli here in the first spot right now. Felix Samoa is only 15 thousandths of a second behind him, Ron.
Yeah, this is one of the shortest tracks that we've been at all season long, and that's part of the reason why we have some of the smallest gaps that we've seen all season long as well. The front row, as you just said a couple of moments ago, Adam, separated by 15 thousandths of a second. And just looking through as it stands currently, to find a car that is a second off of Maurizio Nazelli's pole time, you have to go back to Nate Himmelsbach in the number 45 car. Where's he qualified? 29th. Holy cow, Randall. I mean, you've been with me all season long here for the Spec Racer Fords, or just about all season long, and you were with the Spec Racer Fords last season. You can speak to how close these Spec Racer Ford drivers are and how competitive this series is, but that's turning it up another notch.
Yeah, this is an absolutely tight grid. There's some names at the top of the leaderboard now that weren't there during practice, and some of the ones that were at the top of the leaderboard in practice, not nearly as far forward as I expected to see them. So they're going to have some work to do. We've seen Joaquim Osbeck here in 22nd. He's going to pull the car off the track, but it's an absolutely tight grid. There's not going to be a lot of room for error from any of these drivers, and some of these drivers starting further back are really going to have their hands full trying to make their way through traffic on a very short layout.
A very short version of this racetrack. To be a bit more precise, it is 1.76 miles, which I think makes it the shortest track that we have visited all season long here for the Spec Racer Fords. What a brilliant schedule we've had up to this point as well. Some brilliant racetracks that we visited. Kicked it off at Bathurst, then went to Rudskogen, Spa, Zolder, Summit Point, Silverstone. I tend to forget about that race. I don't know why. Winton, Donington Park, Suzuka, VIR, Cadwell Park, and Road Atlanta to bring this season to a conclusion. I gotta wonder what season 2 of 2025 has up its sleeve, but the checkered flag out in this qualifying session, Adam, looking like Maurizio Nazelli going to remain on the pole unless this man, Daniel Maniakov, in the 176 car has anything to say about. He slotted in 4th and only has to gain about a 10th and some change to jump into the pole.
Adam's been inducted, and you're right. He does have a shot here. I didn't see how he managed to get through turn 3, so I can't tell you just from looking at him on track if he's in a good position. But it looks like sector 2 time down quite a bit, so it looks like he didn't quite get turn 3 right, and that's probably what decides who's going to be on pole here and who's not. Is who gets the best run through turn 3. That's where you can lose the most time on this track. So now we're going to see Trenton Kramer coming into the chicane for the last time. Down in 8th, he was leading the way in practice for most of that session, and now he seems to be struggling with pace a little bit. He's not going to finish this lap. He's going to bring the car down for one more good attack at that pit entry, which is going to be very important. The pitch here is going to be more important than normal, I believe.
Yeah, the pit's going to be super vital in this race. I mean, usually at Road Atlanta, the pit stops can make a huge difference, but around this shortened version of the circuit, gotta wonder how long these drivers are going to spend down pit lane and how that's going to correlate to the actual laps of the track. Probably going to see, I don't know, 45 seconds down pit lane, give or take, Randall. I think that number sounds about right. I don't know. You can tell I was great in math class as a kid. Compare that to 1 minute lap times, and you've got a rather terrifying prospect for these drivers trying to execute this race as best as they can. But let's get the final race of the season underway by taking a look at the starting grid. It'll be Maurizio Nazelli in the 44 car starting this race from the pole. Felix Samoa is set to join him on the front row, looking to win the championship again. He needs to finish top 3 or better, and it'll be his. Saul Shotwe going to be starting this race in the 3rd starting spot, next to the Michigander of Daniel Maniakov in the 176 car. We have Alace Pleva starting in 5th, next to York Monty, the Masters pole sitter, in 6th. Tortolo will start in 7th, next to Trent Kramer in 8th. Kevin Binkley will start in 9th. Jason Green will start in 10th. And just because of that, Adam, Randall, I'll let you take the drivers outside the top 10.
Antonio Reese is going to be starting 2nd in the Masters division, 11th overall, next to Matt Thompson, who's going to be on the Spec 2 pole representing Frito Sport. 13th, Eric Luke, and 14th, Tom Gradwell. Flavio Andalo starting 15th, SMB's own Joshua Wilkie starting in P16. Kurt Nunez is going to start in 17th. Scott Russell in 18th. Good old Stevie Ray, the league administrator, starting in 19th, with Reen Tyson starting in 20th.
Randall, how hard was that for you, man? I'm surprised you know how to read. You're a Marine.
And on that note, starting in 21st is going to be Paolo Bremo. Joachim Ozbeck going to be starting alongside in P22. Then we have Adam Bradshaw starting in 23rd in the 929 car. Ben Rycroft looking to try and challenge for that Spec 2 championship, going to be on the back foot starting in 24th. Dan Witzak alongside, well, right behind him in 25th, I should say, next to Edgar Stancinelli, who will be alongside him. Phil Berry in the Triple Eight car will start in 27th. Next to Brad Cathcart in P20. Josh Soto, who we're going to be keeping our eyes on in the 07 car in 29th, and Nate Himmelsback in 30th.
In 31st,
Andrew
we've got
Lose.
Andrew. Well, that's it. It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. In 31st, we got
there we
Andrew
go.
Love, Paul Jackson in 32nd, Michelle Viglini in 33rd, and Andrea Favini rounding out your 34-car grid here today. I totally threw all you guys off, and I'm so glad I did that before the race starts, because get ready, it's going to happen again.
I can't necessarily say I'm surprised, but speaking of throwing some stuff off, Randall, there's a lot of parts of this race coming up that are probably going to throw these drivers off. What do you think is a main thing these drivers have to be wary of?
Two things. The first lap going into turn 3, it's going to turn into a parking lot. So if you're the back of this field, you need to be prepared for that. The other thing that's going to throw some of these drivers off at the front of the field is they're going to be dealing with lap traffic more than they have all season.
Yeah, lap traffic going to be huge. Adam, what do you think is going to be the main thing that these drivers have to be terrified of?
The start of the
Besides
race.
the meowing.
Yeah, meow, by the way. The start of the race, which is going to be happening here in about 30 seconds, meow, is going to be extremely tough because the start of the race have been completely very contentious for the last, what, Ron, 6 or 7 weeks. Everybody's been messing it up. So a lot of people are saying, why are they waiting until green? Why are they waiting until green? Felix Samoas is one that likes to wait quite a bit. Jason Green, a driver that likes to go early to try not to back up the field, because if you're in that mid-pack here, Ron, it's going to cause problems. We're about to see what Maurizio Nizelli does here.
And the green flag is out for one final time this season, and the drivers are on their way. Not a good start for Samoa, as he's going to fall into the crutches of Solal Shutwe right behind. Looks like they're going to single file out, heading down into turn number 1. But Nizelli in the race lead. Looking at Lace Pleva and Jorg Mani side by side. Phil Berry also looking to pick up the crumbs in the Cookie Monster Mobile, heading down into turn number 2, into 3, and through 4 in a couple of moments' time. This section super tricky at the very beginning of this race, and these drivers certainly trying to prove that you can go through that clean, even in a massive pack of race cars. But Nizelli getting off to a flyer of a start, but having a flyer of a run right behind is going to be Felix Samoa, going on to this massively long back straightaway here. Let's see how this is going to shake out, heading down into the turn 7 and 8 chicane for the first time under the green flag in this 40-minute long race. Is anyone going to go for the moves? Is anyone going to go for the dives? Looks like there's some side-by-side racing right behind involving Trent Kramer and Jorg Mani. I don't have a good feeling about that. Did they make it through clean? They did. I have no idea how the hell they managed that, Adam.
Trent Kramer was on the inside, and then we went to him, and he was on the outside. I don't know how Trent got from the inside to the outside of the track without running Jorg Mani over, but he did it. Back into turn 1, though, again. Randall, this is the point of contention that we're talking about. Let's see how much track Maurizio cuts here going into 3.
Yeah, you do get a few of them free. It looks like he's good there. That's about the right amount that you want to cut that without actually incurring that off-track incident. You do get a few free passes, but with the tight incident limits here in this league, you don't want to get very many of them, because then one little bitty car contact can result in a drive-through penalty for you. So you want to minimize those, but you do have a few of them free in hand.
We have Freddie Weaver, by the way, in chat. This is the first time I've seen Freddie Weaver in chat. Thank you so much for tuning in to Slow Motion Broadcasting. We have Tim Stubbe in the chat as well. She's been here for every race that I think Slow Motion Broadcasting has ever covered. We're going back to a incident maybe between Mr. Sancinelli, the 888 car on the inside. Oh, no, that wasn't the 888. Oh, my goodness, that was Joshua Soto running it through the grass for about half of the front stretch, Ron.
Yes, Soto turning that 07 Spec Racer Ford car into a lawnmower coming out of the final corner. That's not an ideal strategy. Looks like he's going to try and prevent any more instances like that between now and the end of this race, if he can prevent it. But it has been a rather hectic start. And let's take a look at another moment. This is Scott Russell in the 22 car, heading his way down into turn number 1. Got the car on the inside of him that I believe, not entirely sure who that is, but both of them go off the track. Exiting the first corner, that is going to be... Oh, be careful. The rejoin. Contact going into the side. Not sure who that was. That may have been Reese, potentially. I'm not too sure. Either way.
That was Nunez. Yeah, that
Yeah.
gold.
Oh,
Oh,
and
my
then
goodness,
more
he keeps
goes
going.
on
Scott Russell
after.
off the track again, Randall.
Yeah, one mistake just becomes
Oh,
multiple
my God.
mistakes, and he's going to come back on into a very precarious position. I'm sure the stewards will have a few things to say to him before the start of next season because of that. But yeah, that's one mistake compounding itself into multiple mistakes and a couple innocent bystanders involved in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking through this field right now. I'm looking for one driver. I think it might not be Jorg Monty. Not yet. He is down one position, actually, sitting back there in 7th position. I'm looking for Stevie Ray in 20th. He has lost one position, but Stevie is still in the race, which is a huge deal. S2 class leader, though. My God, Guido, that is a very, very good graphic there. Matt Thompson in 11th, a Frito Sport driver. Eric Luke, though, right behind him.
And looking at this race, I think it is kind of settled into a groove. I can't really say that with total confidence, though. Heading down into turn... I'm so used to calling this the turn 10 chicane. I have to call it the turn 7 and 8 chicane on this version of the track. If we see a race for the Spec Racer Fords on the club layout of Road Atlanta, I may just be completely mute on that broadcast out of protest. But so Maurizio Nazelli leading over Samoas, and it should be noted here, Randall, the top 5 drivers all running in the exact same spot that they started in. That's rather rare.
It is. We're going to jump back to a replay of Stevie Ray coming through turn 3. It looks like he gets a little bit wide coming through turn 3. He hit the apex curb, and he hit it so little that I think it actually upset the car, which caused him over onto the curb for turn 4. Since the car was already unsettled when he found the curb, it just shot him back across the track, and he had some minor contact with a very, very solid concrete wall. Has some damage on that car. Hopefully the steering wheel is still pointing straight.
I think there may have been another moment here. Let's have a look at it. That right there is Tortolo gets a little bit wiggly coming out of turn number 1 and avoids the barrier, surprisingly so. And then he loses it again coming out of turn number 3. He's going to get T-boned here. I'm waiting for it. And no. Oh, don't tell me he noses it into the barrier. I mean, it's a spin nevertheless, so that's not going to be ideal for Tolo regardless. That could have been so much worse, though, Adam.
Ron, we've seen this a few times in the past couple of weeks here with the Spec Racer Fords. The second they get off the track, they get some grass on those tires, they try to re-enter. There was nothing wrong with Tor's re-entry, but it just, I don't know, Randall, if it cools the tires down or what. There's another one. That's Paulo Brime. Oh, my God, who was that?
Not able to get a good view of that, but that is unfortunate for Paulo Brame. Definitely going to end his day.
Favini on the outside.
But you're right. Once they get off into the grass, sometimes it seems like they pick up some debris on the tires. That certainly played a role. Also, I think what happened with Tullo coming through that corner was that he had such a shallow angle that he was carrying a bit more speed than he realized, and it just caught him off when he got out there to the curb and was spinning around.
Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did. But yeah, I just want a massive shout out to Andrea Favini for somehow finding a way to get out of that incident. We still have 3 drivers locked in, though, here. Felix Amoz and Mauricio Nazelli. Ron, here we go again.
Yep, here we go. This is going to be a rather exciting way to bring this season to a close. Got a lot of heavy hitters at the front. Nazelli, he's been fast throughout this season. Felix Samoas, I mean, as it stands currently, he would be winning the championship if he can hold on to this spot. So certainly a fast driver in this series, as well as Solal Shutwee, who kicked the season off with a win at Bathurst. Actually, no, that was Samoas winning that opening race. What am I saying? But Alais Pleva and Trent Kramer have both been stupidly quick in these Spec Racer Fords as well. well. So a lot of heavy hitters at the north end of the field. And let's see how it's going to work out. Jason Green getting a move done to slip his way in front of Antonio Reese. It's an okay move. It's a clean move and a slick move, but he's going to have to pull off a couple more like that and hope for Felix Samoas not even to get struck by a falling anvil, get struck by lightning to find himself in a championship clinching situation.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for Jason Green here and Antonio Reese, both very, very good drivers here. And there's something that I want to be saying as Daniel Maniakov goes off. He holds on. Nope. See, again, this is the same thing we were talking about earlier, Randall. I don't know if you saw that replay. He gets off, he re-enters the track, and then I don't know if the tire cooling on these cars or if it's the grass on the tires that just cause massive issues when they try to re-enter.
It has to be the grass on the tires. It seems like they're not coming to grips with what's actually there. The tire model is something that's been in constant flux the past couple seasons with the changes they've made to debris and things like that on track. So not a surprise to see Trenton Kramer going to take P4 away from Aleix Pleva, and I'm going to still call it turn 10. He's going to get that move done and try to set his sights on Sulal Shutwi. There's a bit of a gap there, 1.1 seconds, not insurmountable, but on a short track like this, that's a pretty big gap.
No, it really is. Ron, I'm going to hand this back over to you for 1 second. I want to get back to my point, though, with Jason Green and Mr. Antonio Reese down there right behind him. Jason Green is one of those drivers that everybody loves, right? So Antonio Reese did let him go. Now, keep an eye out for Antonio and Jason to work together. I don't think Antonio is worried about the front end of his Spec Racer Ford. If he's got to get Jason Green back to the back of that lead pack, he will do that. So keep an eye out for the front end of Mr. Antonio Reese's SRF and see if that thing becomes dented more and more and more, especially if these drivers start to battle. But the thing is, Ron, Felix Samoas is back here knowing all he's got to do, if Jason Green wins, all he's got to do is finish third. Felix Samoas, this may be the most conservative drive you've ever seen the number 116 car take.
Yeah, I just want to raise one more point in reference to Antonio Reese maybe giving a shove and a bump draft to Jason Green. If that happened, if it came down to that, that would be the Portuguese man of Antonio Reese helping out the American of Jason Green to beat another Portuguese man in the form of Felix Samoas. So rather odd how that stuff works out at the end of the day. You gotta love the international world of the weekend warriors, and these drivers all going to risk it for the biscuit at the end of these races. They want to get as many points as they can. And speak of a driver getting a lot of points, this is Eric Luke in the 709 car, your current leader in the Spec 2 category, running 9th overall. This is a driver who I have not seen in my entire time doing Weekend Warriors broadcast, but he is certainly proving himself to be a rather quick contender in Spec 2 today.
Yeah, neither have I. This is the first time I've seen him, and he was obviously not the Spec 2 leader, but now he is. Eric Luke doing a great job, but we've got another battle here. I want to keep an eye on this, so we can stay on the number 44, or at least the top 4 here. Let's see what Felix does here, because Felix Samoas is not one to not go for a move, but I believe he is not going to go for a move. Look at him pushing Mauricio Nazello down the straight. He knows what he's got to do here, Randall.
Yes, and I think he's also doing a bit of a fuel strategy game here, where he's content being in second place because he knows that's good enough for the championship. As we watch, Trenton Kramer almost certainly picked up the off-track incident point there. He's closed the gap up to the top 3, but yeah, I think Samoa is content to be in second place, and through that contention is doing a bit of a fuel staving strategy. We've not seen him go for a move, and he's definitely had the momentum to do so. He might start to go for a move if he feels the drivers behind him are going to start feeling punchy. But right now, look at this. Trenton Kramer is all over the back of Sulal Shutwi. Not going for a move this time. They're going to keep this single file line for now. But I think we're going to start seeing things fire off here for the top 3.
Yeah, we'll see. We are now 11 and a half minutes into this race, Ron. Do you want to change your picks at all, or are you happy with them?
I'm trying to remember what my picks were.
Me too.
As it stands currently. So despite the fact I am 20 years old, I have the memory and also the joints of an 85-year-old man. So I'm looking through. I remember putting my Monopoly money on Felix. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that point. Josh Soto, 14 positions gained in the 07 car. That is absolutely unbelievable. Credit's due to Nate Himmelsbach. finds himself running in 19th, 11 spots gained from where he started in this race. Lots of drivers cutting their way through the field like a hot knife through butter, but Randall, Josh Soto in that 07 car, really proved himself to be quick.
And he's got a big gap in front of him right now, which I think is actually going to work out in his favor because he's going to be able to set some quality pace laps and probably be one of the fastest cars on track for the next 3 or 4, maybe even 5 laps. And we're continuing to watch this battle up front. There's not really much going on. Aleix Pleva has also closed that gap up, so this lead group has gotten a little bit bigger. I think we're seeing some pace management out of Mauricio Nazelli and Felix Simoes. Nobody looking really punchy right now to try to make a move. Jörg Manny's going to join that lead pack, but if they keep the pace slow, it's going to give Jason Green a chance here.
Yeah, that's the issue, is they're all trying to stay in line because Jason Green is there. But the problem is, Jason Green is still catching them. Jörg Manny has got to them. Jason Green is the next person up here, and they've got to figure something out at the front. They're playing it too conservative. We're only 13 minutes into this race, Ron.
Yeah, only 13 minutes on the board. Lucky number, 13 minutes into this 40-minute long race, and we've seen a lot of movers and shakers thus far. Drivers cutting their way through the field like a hot knife through butter, others dropping down like an anvil pushed into a pond. Let's take a look at a replay to see what happened to Dan Witzak in the 413 car, the Canadian, getting this move done and getting a fantastic view inside the engine. Oh my God, that was contact being made around the outside. He's trying to get a move done, heading down into the 7 and 8 chicane on Nate Himmelsbach. So we got a good view of the inside of Himmelsbach's car, and we also got a view of Dan Witzak cooking his tires with that spin heading through that section, Adam.
Yeah, we did. Look at Antonio Reese still hanging out onto the back of Jason Green. I want you guys to keep looking at this gap. Right now, Jason Green is 3.9 seconds off the leader. That doesn't matter. I want you to look at the gap between Jörg Manny and Jason Green. I want to see if this closes in at all. This is the biggest deal we have right now in this championship battle. You can look at everything else, but right now the Spec 1 battle, Randall, is heating up. And it's getting there. I think Jason Green is going to be able to have a chance. He's fallen back just a little bit here, but all you need is a little bit of a mistake from Mauricio Nazelli to back all of those drivers up.
Jason Green's been about 2 to 3 tenths faster per lap, which actually translates to 3 to 4 tenths on a normal size track. And while that doesn't seem like a lot, we have a huge number of laps in this race. So that's plenty of time for Jason Green to close the gap. And as this front pack gets bigger, you're going to see less and less patience amongst these drivers. They're going to start dicing for position and give Jason Green the opportunity. Also, he could also pit around some of this traffic in order to get a preferred position on track. Once this all starts to shake
that gap
out,
coming down, Randall.
It gives him a lot of room to be reactive, and not having a car in front of you lets really push some of these braking zones where some of the drivers in this lead pack are having to take it easy.
I want you guys to keep looking at that interval, Ron. I was just watching it as Randall was talking. It came down 0.5 of a second within half a lap. Jason Green is very, very fast.
Yeah, Jason Green is cooking at the moment in the 160 car. Let's see, though, will he be able to reel in that gap? You can see that's Monty. He's under the bridge as Jason Green is exiting that chicane section. So a rather big mountain to climb if you are Jason Green. That gap is staying around about the same as it stands at the present moment.
Keep an eye on it, though. Just hang out.
We will certainly be keeping our eyes on in terms of lap times last time by. Just about evenly matched with Jason Green taking a small little bite of that gap, and Antonio Reese and Jörg Manny about 0.02 of a second away from saying the same lap time there. We're certainly going to be keeping tabs on it to see how this works. And, of course, Jason Green, we saw in that Formula Ford race earlier on, very good at fuel saving. I'm going to pose this to you, Randall. I feel like the main way that Jason Green is going to get involved in that front pack fight is going to be through strategy rather than catching him up on track.
Absolutely, it could be involving a little bit of strategy. He's not really in a good position to be saving fuel, however, so he's kind of going to be married to a strategy that he's just going to have to take as much fuel as is needed. What it's really going to come down to is, does the professor have the mathematical calculation to know exactly how much fuel he needs and not take a single drop more? As we see We saw a couple laps ago Felix Simoes make a move on Nazelli that kind of stretched this lead group out a little bit. They're going to compress back together over the coming laps, but a new leader, Felix Simoes, we're going to see that move down into what I'm still calling the turn 10 chicane.
Yeah, I can't necessarily blame you. It's so odd calling it that, calling it the corner numbers that is right now, 7 and 8. That's just a bit iffy, as we saw at that moment. Certainly not iffy for Felix Simoes heading down into that same section, as I think Josh Wilkie just got past Antonio Reese. Something has gone down to the driver of the 914 car. What has happened to the Masters man? Finds himself P2 of those Masters competitors, but he's dropped down from at 1.8 all the way down to P11. So we may have to load up a replay to see what happened to Antonio Reese. Let's take a look at it here, Adam.
Yeah, very quickly, I'm going to take this one to Randall after this replay. We are now watching Antonio Reese gets extremely sideways through turn 3, gets out of the way, though. But, Randall, I got to come to you. James Matthew Sheldon asked, how strong is a slipstream in these cars? I'm thinking about 1.2 seconds. Am I wrong in that?
So the slipstream is not overpowering, but it is enough to help you get a move done. And once you get past about 9/10 of a second in these cars, it's vestigial at best, so it'll keep you in contact and keep the driver ahead from pulling away. But you need to be there at about 6/10 of a second to really have a move on this track, maybe even 5/10 on the short layout. But if you're there within 6/10, typically at Road Atlanta, you're going to easily get the move done into the chicane. The short layout cuts that back straight in half, though, so you need to be a little bit closer to have a shot. The slipstream will be enough to get you around, but you still got to have a good run. It won't help you cover for mistakes so much.
Yeah, we're looking here at the gap between Monty and Green between lap 12 and lap 17. You can see lap 12 is 2.5 seconds. Lap 17 is 2.6. So Jason Green is not closing in that gap like I thought he was, especially when he doesn't have somebody like Antonio Reese back there now who made a mistake, who is now behind Jason Green. That is Eric Luke. Eric Luke is not a normal driver here in the Spec Racer Fords. That is something that we have to think about here, Ron.
Yeah, gotta think of a lot of stuff at this point. These drivers having to worry about the on-track battles, battling this track that doesn't get a whole lot of views on the iRacing platform, and also having to think about the pit stops. Josh Soto making that call to come into the pits in the 07 car now, whether he came into the pits of his own volition or whether or not he was involved in some sort of incident
his own what?
that caused him was volition.
You said fruition. You meant fruition. You said fruition.
Fruition, okay. Yeah,
yeah, there you go, Ron. Good job.
English
you did
is not
good.
my second
Oh my
language,
God,
as Randall
Felix
said.
Simoes.
Oh my
I'm
God,
sorry.
Felix Simoes with that snap heading through 7 and 8. I was just referencing something Randall said the Silverstone race not terribly long ago this season. I'm from Philadelphia. English is not my second language, but Simoes, I think he had one language through there, and that was holy bleep.
Yeah, oh, you can go for a bit of a wild ride there. If you carry too much speed into the chicane like we saw there out of Simoes, that the rear end steps out, and the Spec Racer Ford turns into what I like to call Mr. Toad's wild ride. There's a steering wheel there, and you can turn it if it makes you feel better, but it's not going to help anything.
You know what you haven't mentioned yet is Karnak the Magnificent here, Randall. Why don't you give a Karnak the Magnificent reference right now to kill somebody in this race?
I tend to try to use my powers for good, but I think Karnak may be helping Jason Green close this gap. We're gonna see something, and I'm not sure. The number 46 is coming to my mind. Maybe Aleix Pleva is going to be involved in something here that's going to allow Jason Green to close this gap up. We'll keep an eye on it, though. I think there's going to be some carnage in that front group before the end of this race.
All right, Karnak the Magnificent has spoken. Let it be true. Right now, Jason Green still trying to get to the back of Jorg Monty. This is still a 6-car battle, excuse me. At the lead, Mauricio Nazelli, Sewell Al-Shootwi. While we're talking about Sewell Al-Shootwi here, Sewell Al-Shootwi is a driver of Slow Motion Racing, the team that has just started about a month ago now. A great time there at Bathurst. Sewell Al-Shootwi was on Jason Green's team, I believe. Sewell is a very quick driver, Ron. Do not count him out.
Oh yeah, Solal Shutway is very fast. He's grabbed a couple of wins thus far this season. He is fast. And we're going to take a look at a replay to see Nate Himmelsback in the number 45 car, heading his way down into the turn 10 in name chicane. Let's see. Carries too much speed. Midway through the corner, loops it around, runs backwards, and that is a terrifying sight to behold for the drivers encroaching upon him and trying to get looped back around.
God.
Now,
I don't even know what to say.
Adam's quick to point the finger at Nate there, but he did the right thing. Actually, he was kind of splitting the racing line, and there was nobody really coming. It wasn't easy to tell from a static shot like that, but getting back into the throttle and clearing that racing line was probably the right thing to do, and it didn't cause any further incidents. So I'm going to give him a thumbs up. Good job, Nate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give him a thumbs up too, but it is still, like Ron said, if you see a driver driving the wrong way, especially through that chicane, it sounds like we've got something else going on here. Mauricio Nozelli, though, still in the lead of this race. We got to start thinking about pit stops.
And not only that, he's breaking away a little bit too. So he maybe found some pace, and don't look now, but they're coming up on lap traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, lap traffic. That's going to be fun for these drivers. And I say fun. There is fun in frontal lobe migraine. Maurizio Nozelli make that call into the wall. He goes, though. Scraping the barrier in the number 44 car. That's going to do him no favors at all. I think he'll be able to get that damage repaired and get that fender pulled. But either way, that's going to cost him a little bit of time. And we've seen thus far this season that a small little bit of time gained through the pits or a small little bit of time lost can either make or break your race. That moment for Maurizio Nozelli, it may not seem like anything huge. That can make a big difference in these races, Randall.
Absolutely. It won't have cost him very much time, but it may have upset his rhythm, which would be the worst part of this. We're going to see him. He's really attacking the entry here. Just carries a little bit too much speed. Has a nice bump with the concrete barrier. Luckily, the pit crew will be able to repair that car very quickly. He was stopped for 16.13 seconds. Trenton Kramer, who came in behind him, was stopped for only 14.7. He's so far the fastest of the people that have come in. Typical stop time looking to be 15 to 16 seconds. And now we're going to see Solal Shutway pit out of the lead.
Yeah, we got to go back here to the professor as well for his pit stop because he did it once in the Formula 4 just a little bit earlier. It looks like Felix Amoas is going to be driving around the outside of Aleix Pleva as Stevie Ray joins the chat again. I know I'm a little bit loud. You guys may not have been able to hear that this time, but Felix Amoas around the outside of Aleix Pleva in turn 1, Ron.
You say that you're loud as if I'm any better. I scream into the microphone basically every single day at this point, so I really have absolutely no room to judge. But this slow trickle of drivers coming into the pits, I'm curious as to whether or not this is going to turn into a full-on torrential flood. Hey, it's down sad to get some rain from time to time with the humidity, especially in the summer. But as it stands currently for these drivers, they're certainly eyeballing the strategy calls that they have to make. Felix Amoas and Aleix Pleva, who came to blows late in the race at Spa early on in the season, find themselves running in P1 and P2, and I wonder if they're also going to be running down into the pits. Jason Green certainly will, along with Samoa's Pleva and Monty. This is a huge swing. How is this all going to work out here, Randall?
Yeah, it's very interesting that how many drivers are coming in so early. I think they're trying to pit away from any of the lap traffic from some of the drivers that have come in for service already. The gap, the delta for the pit here is so big that it's easy to find yourself in lap traffic if you try to stretch it. And I think most of these front runners are reacting to the lap traffic they're seeing. This is going to be a big decision point in the race, who's going to come out on top, because you can easily lose the contact with that lead group. Keep your eye on Maurizio Nozelli where he shakes out in all this, because he had that incident on pit entry.
As it stands
Sorry. I'm looking here at some times here. Pit time. Jason Green still in the pits. No, he may be leaving. I'm trying to keep track of all of this stuff. Jason Green's pit box time was 16.03 seconds. He's slow. He is very slow, and I think that has something to do with what you said earlier, Randall. He was not in the draft. So the professor gets professed here, Randall.
And now it just comes down to whether or not he took excess fuel or not. That is kind of up for debate how many laps we will see in this race. Right now, my calculation's showing 38.3, but that could easily become 37.3. So 39, 38, maybe even 37 laps in this race. We need to have a few more drivers come in for service to get a clear indication of where that is. Right now, Jason Green gonna have a gap in front of him still to try to close up, but it is about the same, maybe a little bit smaller than it was before he pit.
Trenton Kramer.
Look at this.
Oh my God, Trenton Kramer is making some moves here, Stevie, and I'm going to bring it to you for just 1 second. First of all, Stevie, welcome in to the best broadcast I think there will ever be on slow motion broadcasting. I'm saying that, obviously, you know why, Stevie, but we're now watching Trenton Kramer on the back of Mauricio Nizelli. Stevie, you know Trent very, very well. This guy is not someone that is going to pull any moves. He's going to make a move if he knows there is one.
Yeah, he's a pretty calculated driver, a lot of experience in real world, and he translates that really well over here to calculate and make a safe, quick move.
Well, I've got you here, Stevie. We saw you bounce off the wall once. What happened, man?
I just ran out of skill.
Well, that's fair.
It's been one of those days. I couldn't drive. I ended up with too many incidents with a drive-through, and I thought, okay, we'll spare any more torture to these guys and park it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad to have you up here in the booth, Stevie, and I want you to stay for the rest of this broadcast. But right now, we've got Mauricio Nizelli right now looking in fourth place. We've got Aleix Plava behind him, Felix Samoz in front of him, Trenton Kramer sitting in seconds, but Sewell Al-Shootwi is gone, Ron.
Yeah, Sol has just completely checked out in this race. I'm not sure what kind of nitrous he has in that car, but he's certainly using it to fantastic effect. 2.8, nearly around 2.9 seconds to the front of Trenton Kramer's car. That is an insane gap to build in a Spec Racer Ford race. Still got a lot of time left to go, though, so he's not out of harm's way yet. There's a lot that can happen in the final 11 and a half minutes of this race, and the final 11 and a half minutes of this season. We'll know as well. Josh Soto still on the charge, up 17 spots from where he started in this race. He now finds himself in 12th. Looking through the other classes, York Monty, your current leader in Masters. Meow indeed. Eric Luke, he's putting on a good performance in the number 9, currently in the 9th spot, the Spec 2 leader. And as it stands currently, someone better get him a cough drop. Felix Samoz would be on track to become your champion, with Jason Green a little bit farther back in 6th.
Randall, I'm looking at pit times here, and I'm looking at pit lane times as well. Sewell Al-Shootwi about a second faster than anybody else in the pits. Do you think that's going to be an issue for him going into the end of this race?
I do not think it's going to be an issue for him because he was in a prime position to be fuel saving this entire race, and I think that's exactly what he was doing, though we can temporarily earmark him for the Thompson Trophy for fuel management. We'll see if he reclaims that trophy or not, or possibly claims the trophy for this race, as we're seeing him work his way through some lap traffic against around Paul Jackson. About 12 seconds up the road, he's got Andrew Love and Edgar Santinelli to deal with, so he's finding his way into some lap traffic. Traffic management might be what decides this race.
It could be. About 3.3 seconds separates him from Trenton Kramer, and here comes Ron with the harmonica. I had a feeling that was going to come out in this race. We still have a big battle, though. Jason Green, 3.6 seconds behind. Right now, he has got to close that gap, but there is still 10 minutes left in this race, and I could expect anything to happen, especially between Mauricio Nizelli and Felix Samoz. We're looking to see what happened, though, with Jason Green. He goes into the chicane here, gets a little bit loose. What happens? Jason Green off track, big off track there, but looks like Jorg Monty still hangs out behind him.
Kicking some dust up into the air coming out of the chicane. That is not good at all for Jason Green. He's certainly pushing that car to the limit of control and maybe a little bit over that limit at times. Taking a look at this monumental battle on the monumental dive from Plava. Holy cow, that did not work for him at all, but credits to Aleix Plava coming in like an Exocet missile heading down into the chicane. He doesn't make it work. In fact, he lost time more than anything else, but he stole our hearts with that move, Randall. Let's take a look at this replay. Holy crap, holy.
Karnak the Magnificent strikes again. Look at this absolute send up the inside. It looks like Nazelli backed out of it a bit. Kramer was already going slow. He just carried a bit too much speed here. That looked really good until he got to that second apex and had to back out of it. So aside from that, that was a textbook move and a really good opportunistic move. I don't see really much wrong with it.
No, it was perfect if he would have made it stick, but he didn't. So now Trenton Kramer back up into third place. Now he has got to get to the back of Felix Simoes, and right now Felix Simoes is thinking, what the hell, man? Sewell Al-Shoui is 3.5 seconds ahead.
This is a massive gap that Al-Shoui finds himself holding on to as it stands at the present moment. The 132 car in a very comfortable position as it stands currently, while the drivers behind just beat the crap out of each other lap after lap. I feel like something's going to break here soon. But Alace Pleva, I think, was the first to break away from all of that. Maurizio Nazelli, the last time by, sang the 5th lap of the race at a 101.759. Nazelli in that 44 car. Yeah, he is fast indeed, Adam. I got to wonder if Nazelli ran full-time in this series, what would that man be able to do in terms of winning a championship? He's won Spec Racer Ford races that I've covered. He's won some Formula Ford races that I've covered. He is quick. That driver of the 44 car is a very fast driver. If he ran in the series full time, who knows what he'd be able to do?
I've got to talk to Stevie here because Stevie, I know, knows Maurizio way better than I do, but every time we talk about Maurizio Nazelli, Stevie, he is up there in the front of this pack. If we were to have a one season where Maurizio Nazelli runs every race, Stevie, I think Maurizio could put the absolute pressure on those top runners of Jason Green and Felix Simoes.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. He actually was a previous Spec 1 champion from several years ago, I believe, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, absolutely. He was once one champion, but I think Mauricio has much more talent than what we've seen just one time. Looking at Sewell, and he's not doing anything that is crazy right now. Sewell is just taking lines, normal lines. He's not cutting tracks. Now, if we watch Trenton Kramer through here, Trenton, on the other hand, is cutting a lot of track to try to get around Felix Simoes here, but at this point, the gap is 3.2. It has come down just a little bit, Randall.
Yeah, the gap's fluctuating a little bit here and there. Looks like maybe Sewell is taking it a bit easier in the second sector of the lap, which is understandable when you have a big gap. You're not going to push turn 3 nearly as hard. It seems to spread back out when it comes down to the chicane. So it seems like in the fast sections of the track, he's still absolutely on it and on a tear. Doesn't seem to be doing any fuel saving, so that tells me that he's in a comfortable position fuel wise. We are looking to be, this race will be 38 laps long. We're serving lap 33, so it'll be 5 to go this time by, as we see Josh Soto having a bit of an incident in front of him, and they're going to get a couple more positions out of this. He's going to be in the top 10 easily.
This guy is moving, man. Josh Soto from 30. Stevie with the freaking air horn. Joshua Soto is on a move, Stevie, and this is a driver that comes in every now and then, and I know you know Josh Soto, Stevie. He is fast in real life. He is very, very fast in the sim as well.
Yeah, I met him online anyway with the SECA-based league that we had, and he dominated some of that. So good to see him join the Weekend Warriors. While I got a chance, a huge shout-out to one of our Warriors, Michael Odell. Raced the Real World Road Atlanta today, and a top 15, ended up P14 in a Super Tour, which was a really stacked field. So great to see him doing that. He said he's going to race with us most of next season as well, except when he's on track.
Good, yeah. Michael Odell, a guest of the Racing Line as well. Michael Odell, a great interview we had with him a couple weeks ago. Congrats to you, Michael. I know what you're doing. I know what your plans are, man. Just keep it up. You're doing some great things out there in the real life, and it's right now we're talking about the sim, though, and we're still talking about Sewell Al-Shoui. It's about 3.1 seconds now back to Felix Simoes. They are catching him, Ron.
Yeah, you can hear that Jaws theme begin to play in this race, and let's see if they have enough time to be able to give us a good battle to talk about towards the end of this race and towards the end of this season. Less than 5 minutes ago, coming up to nearly 4 minutes left from this season. What a season it has been up to this point. Felix Samoes, who are following right now, he may be P2 in this race, but with how things stand at the present moment, he would be P1 in the championship, doing everything he needed to do in this race, and that is going to help him out a lot. It'll be a championship for him for the first time in a while, I believe, here from the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior. Samoes, a very fast driver in that number 31 car, has certainly flexed his muscles all throughout this season, Randall.
Yeah, he has. He's been been in the conversation for multiple races. There's not many races where he's not talked about up at the front of the field. So he's got a big gap to overcome and not much time to do it. Sul Al-Shutwi looks to be in a pretty comfortable position right now. The gap does, like I said, every time they go through Sector 2, that gap collapses a little bit, but by the time they get to the start-finish line, it seems to have opened back up. So Sul does not seem to be doing anything in the way of fuel saving. We're not under any threat of running an extra lap here at the moment, so he will know by now for sure if he has enough fuel to make it. So that gap collapsed a little bit. Now look at it, it's up to like 3.2 seconds, 3.3 seconds. It keeps fluctuating over the course of a lap, but it's staying pretty static lap to lap.
Smooth as fast.
That's a very good point to raise there, Stevie. Smooth as fast, especially in these Spec Racer Fords. They had a pretty big physics rework heading into this season here on the iRacing platform. The way these cars drive was, I wouldn't say completely changed from the ground up, but it definitely had a rather significant shakeup. These cars not driving the same way they did a matter of like 3 or 4 months ago, and getting around this season has really relied on these drivers rewiring their brains a little bit and getting the opportunity to do it. Stevie, obviously, you've been driving throughout a decent chunk of this season. Adam, I think you've also come out on track for a few of these races for the Spec Racer Fords as well. So I think you can kind of tell that there are some alterations that have been made to this car, Stevie.
Yeah, it really, the tire model changed a little bit this season and gave us a little more slick cold tire to begin with. I think you've seen that on several of the races right there on the first lap. But here we go with Trenton.
Trenton Kramer going to push Felix Samoes there down the front straightaway. So they're trying to close the gap. They're really running out of time, though. They're on lap 37 of 38, so they'll be getting the white flag next time by. It's a little bit too late to try those kind of moves, so we're going to see Trenton Kramer probably getting aggressive here over the next couple corners, probably trying to set up a move into the chicane. He's not going to have many more bites at this apple if he wants the spot from Felix Samoes as they're turning now onto the back straight.
Trenton Kramer is going to find a bite at that apple. I know Trenton Kramer. I've raced Trenton Kramer. Watch him go to the inside right here. No, he's still trying to push. I wonder right now, Randall, if Trenton is playing his own game right now. He does not want to make a move on Felix Samoes until the very end. Sul Al-Shutwi has this race won as long as he makes it to the end. He is not a winner of the Thompson Trophy, Ron. White flag.
Yeah, a white flag in the air, and for Sul Al-Shutwi, he only has about 1.75 miles left to go, and for Felix Samoes, he has 1.75 miles left to go to try and seal the deal in this championship. It's not going to be a cruise lap, though. He has got the challenge from Trent Kramer and Maurizio Nazelli. This is going to be a hard-fought fight right to the line in this race, and let's see how it's going to shake out. Let's see, heading down into the S's for the last time. Samoes really focusing on getting a good exit through here, through the long, never-ending section of turn number 5 and 6. Let's see how's this going to work out. I think Nazelli's going to be the one to keep our eyes on here. Samoes and Kramer, though, side by side, heading onto the back straightaway. This is going to be a battle right through the braking zone into the chicane at the end of this race. Will Kramer get done? Will Samoes hold off? Let's see. Oh, this is close for Vini. Holy cow, that could have ended in tears. Nazelli slipping past. That's going to be a photo finish with Nazelli and Kramer. Now Shutwi's going to win it, but right at the line, it's going to be a drag race with Nazelli and Kramer. Maurizio Nazelli going to win it right at the line. 41 thousandths of a second. Felix Samoes ends up in P4 to win your Spec 1 championship here for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. LA's Plava finishes right behind in P5. But holy cow, Randall, I'm going to pass it off to you because I need to catch my breath.
Yeah, Felix Simoes fought really, really hard for that position, and I was kind of scratching my head over here. It worked out for him. He finishes in 4th place overall, but the way he was fighting to retain that position didn't seem to be the best strategy, because he was just one mistake from himself or from somebody else causing him to possibly lose the championship. It works out in the end. He's going to come home 4th in this race, but not without some nail biting.
No, I mean, I don't know exactly what was going through Felix's head there. I don't know. We did not see that lap car either until they came out of the chicane, and all of a sudden that lap car was there. So that was extremely close. That could have ended in tears, and that would have given Jason Green the win, I believe, Stevie. If Felix would have wrecked there, that would have been game over for Felix.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get the points up pretty quick, but that would have been really interesting.
It absolutely would have been, but now for the final time, here we go, Ron.
Oh, into the side of Jason Green. That was a huge hit. So I think Jason Green, we may need to pour out something in our flasks at the end of all of this, because Jason
already got
Green.
plenty for him.
Oh, whoa, there we go. Yeah, not touching that one. But this is. Oh, who flipped it?
Oh my goodness!
Who managed to go upside down? That,
That
right
was the
there.
903. Was that Brad Cathcart? No, that was.
I think that may have been Tom Gradwell in the 909
Yes.
car. Andre Favini just ramped off him there.
Here
There's
comes
Wilkie
Joe.
coming in. Bang. There we go. Into the side of Jason Green. Jason's been hit so many times ever since that checkered flag came out that I don't even think that hit felt like anything to him. You can see it's just Andrew Love kind of solemnly there through the dust. He finally starts pulling through. I think he's going in for the kill on someone. There's Edgar Sancinelli driving backwards. They need to start talking backwards at the end of all of this. And
What is happening? Uh-oh, look out, look out, look out.
There we go. That's, oh my lord above. That's Andre Favini. We can see it all that. That's the 75. Not sure who's in the 75 I need to go through right now. That's Kevin Binkley in the number 75 car. As we see these absolutely wonderful sights. And another
National
flipper.
Geographic scenes. Yes, yes. National Geographic, Ron. Like you said.
It was a territorial Spec Racer Ford scare. The Formula Fords out their territory using smoke donuts in the gravel trap.
In the chat here from Bobby West. So here's the deal, Bobby. 4th I think was enough for Felix. Jason Green back there in 6th position. I do believe Felix should have enough to get this win. We're about to find out from Stevie Ray here, but we are watching this last lap move. Trent Kramer, Felix Simoes. I am massive shout out to Felix Simoes for making this exciting when he didn't have to make it exciting, Randall.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong in my thinking. Maybe he did need to finish in the top 3 to retain the championship, which would explain maybe why he put forth such a solid defense here at the risk of his race. So, and that lap traffic coming off the chicane, Favini there, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like he has a lot of damage. I don't know if he just got the corner wrong or was trying to get out of the way. But Adam, you've heard me say it multiple times. Getting out of the way often leads to being in the way.
Yeah, I have, and that is unfortunate. Look at the contact there between Mauricio Nizelli and Trenton Kramer going to the line here. We're watching this right to the line. Trenton drives it off the track, but Mauricio Nizelli holds on to that 2nd position. Trenton Kramer in 3rd with Felix Simoes coming home in 4th, and we will figure those points out.
I got you some points.
Oh, well, here we go, Stevie. Bring them out right now.
All right, Felix Simoes, overall champion, 815. Jason Green second, 32 points behind with 783. Trenton Kramer gets the bronze with 705, 110 to the leader, 78 to Jason.
Well, there it is. So it does sound like Felix Simoes is going to take that Spec 1 win. I'm going to take the first 10 here for you, Ron. Sewell Al-Shootwi comes home extremely clear of anybody else in the field in first place, 3.2 seconds ahead of Mauricio Nizelli. Be careful, Sewell. We might start calling you Ian Joyner, buddy. Trenton Kramer coming home in 3rd place with Felix Simoes in 4th. Aleix Pleva coming home in your top 5. Jason the Professor Green coming home in 6th place with Jorg Mani, the janitor, in 7th, Kevin Binkley in 8th, Eric Luke in 9th, Joshua Soto rounding out your top 10.
And look at the drivers we have finishing outside of that. It starts with SMB's very own Mr. Joshua Wilkie finishing this race in P11. Antonio Reese going to be slotted right behind in 12th. Flavio Andallo will be classed in lucky number P13. Joachim Ozbeck will finish in 14th. Matt Thompson ends up in P15. Ben Rycroft in 16th. Adam Bradshaw will be classed P17 at the end of this race. Rain Tessing will be finishing right behind in 18th, and rounding at your top 20, Randall, is going to be Phil Berry and Tom Gradwell.
21st, Dan Winsack. 22nd, Andrew Love. Edgar Sancinelli, the Frito Sport Racing Team entry, finishing in 23rd. Kurt Nunez, who was an unfortunate bystander in that incident in turn 3, is going to finish the last car. No, not the last car on the lead lap. One of the first 2 cars a lap down in 24th. Andrea Favini, who we saw get lapped there right at the end of the race, going to finish 25th. Nate Himmelsbach in 26th. Paul Jackson, 27th. 28th, Michelle Viglini. 29th will be Stevie Ray, our very own Stevie Ray. Brad Cathcart will round out your top 30.
Danil Maniakov in 31st, Tortolo 32nd, Paolo Brime in 33rd. Scott Russell is going to round out your 34 car grid for the final race in season 1 of 2025 for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. We have quite a few drivers starting to join this chat, and I have a feeling I know what's coming, but I'm going to bring one in. I want to talk to Trenton Nostradamus. What? I got to read the rest of this, Trenton. Trenton Nostradamus Kramer. Okay, Trenton, you first of all put Sewell Al-Shootwi, not Sewell Al-Shootwi, excuse me, Felix Samoa is in a very precarious spot going through the chicane for the final lap of the race.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really sure what the rejoin was in front there. I squeezed every last bit of the track out, hoping that the car would just disappear, and unfortunately it did not, so I had to lift several times, and as did he, in order to not run into my side pod, but it was nice and clean up until that point, and unfortunately the loss of drive on the exit there cost me second, but it's what it is. Clean race. That's probably the lowest incident race that I've had in the Weekend Warriors in about, I don't know, a year and a half, so...
Yeah, Trent, I mean, listen, man, I've raced you. I know how good you are at anything you drive, dude, and it has just been an absolute pleasure to get to know you on the sim racing side, and also get to know you a little bit through the Racing Line, the podcast we do on Tuesday night, man. So congratulations again on your top 3 somehow. Don't know how you made that move happen, but you're top 3 there, and congratulations on your very, very good season here in the Spec Racer Ford. So you going to win it next year or what?
Well, that's the plan. I had really good pace at this track. I really enjoy Road Atlanta, especially the first and last sectors. And I mean, just in case you couldn't notice, we were running just the first and last sector with a little shortcut. So I had a lot of pace. Unfortunately, I set my qualifying times with a cone in my hood. So
yeah. Yep.
So
yeah. We're not going to say anything about that, Trent. But before I let you go, I'm glad I have Stevie Ray in this chat right now. So Stevie came to see me, right, in Reno, Nevada here. What was it, Stevie? About 5 months ago-ish?
Yeah, somewhere around September, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was around September. So the last day that Stevie was here, we go to the Maverick because, Stevie, we ran out of beer. Let's be honest. We ran out of beer. We had to go get more beer. So, we were hanging out and we're sitting at the Maverick, and this Mini Cooper just goes flying by down the 50. I know you have no idea what that means. And Stevie looks at me and goes, "Hey, look, there's Trent." Loud Mini Cooper, man. So, Trent, I want you to talk about your real life just a little bit here. I did see a bit of a battle between yourself and a Miata a couple weeks ago that you put on YouTube, buddy. So, what are your plans for your real life racing?
Yeah, I mean, I actually got really inspired this past week on Tuesday to get a hold of Morgan Burkhardt, because realistically, anybody that I have easy contact with, that has had such an amazing boost with not only his skill as a driver, but also with his speed getting up and through the different ranks of racing that is out here in the U.S. Morgan is absolutely the one to go and speak to. He's given me some great tips and contacts of who I should get a hold of and stuff in order to try and get a little bit further. I myself, as I mentioned in the racing line, is I've always wanted to do this professionally. Not the sim racing side, obviously, but like being in a car professionally has always been the dream. I'm pretty sure I've got like homemade drawings from kindergarten back when I wanted to be a racing driver, and I think I still have a Jeff Gordon
Attaboy.
racing suit from when I was like 8. So like it's always been there. So I'm doing my best to try and get my personal driving to where it needs to be, and thankfully I can really express my driving with the sim because I can always reset, and I can take that perfection on the sim side and move it over into probably like an 80 to 90% range on the IRL side, just because obviously I got to fix it if I go flying off the track into a jump or something. So, but yeah, the ultimate goal is to move into some form of semi-professional or even just a classification that is a little bit more competitive and more of a spec class, and something that can't be drawn out as, oh, it's the car that you're driving that makes you competitive, because realistically, not to really toot my own horn, but I think that I have some more talent that's in me just with more seat time and more experience, and I really am desired to show what I can do. So
Well, I'm looking forward to what you can do here, Trent, and I've told this to Brian Stasinski, and I'll tell you now, I'm going to be moving a little bit closer to you. When I say a little bit, a lot closer to you here, probably within the next 8 months. My wife and I are trying to go back home, finally, so going to be moving there to Terre Haute, good old Terre Haute, Indiana, which is a lot closer to you than where I am right now in Reno, Nevada. But I hope to actually get to meet you one day, Trent, and I cannot wait to see what you do with the rest of your real-life racing career. You obviously put everything on YouTube that we want to see. Please go check out Trent. What is your YouTube tag, by the way?
I believe it is Kramer, just my last name, period 44. 44 used to be my old hockey number, and I thought that was the number to represent, and 20 was the year that my girlfriend and I got together, so we're now representing that number.
There you go. Well, Trent, by the way, so 16 is the year that my girlfriend and I, my wife now, got together. So you got a wedding coming up soon, don't you, bud?
Good thing that she doesn't watch these YouTube videos, because that is that proposal is coming up here in August when we go to Alaska. So she doesn't quite know that yet.
If we could have Joshua Wilkie go ahead and cut this part of the broadcast out, that would be great. Congrats, Trent, and I hope to talk to you again soon. You racing XSLR tonight, buddy?
I should be there. I might end up in the fence line trying to chase you down, but I'll try and give you a run.
Good. I'm looking forward to it, Trent. Congratulations. I'll talk to you again here very, very soon, buddy.
All right, thanks, man.
That was Trent Kramer there. Yeah, that was Trent Kramer there in third place. And, who do you want, Ron?
Ooh, that is a good question, giving me the smorgasbord of options right now. I guess I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to take Felix Samoa as our Spec 1 champion at the end of the season. An all-around nice guy. Felix, welcome into the commentary booth. It's not a win here at Road Atlanta, but a win in the championship. How does it feel to be a champion here for season 1 of 2025?
Feels good. Hi, guys. Yeah, feels really nice. I mean, I've been doing these weekend warriors for some years now, and I've come close. But yeah, this year I put it all together. I was fast enough throughout the whole season. I did lots of mistakes. Well discussed already, some of them. So it could have been easier, but in the end, everything went good, and I won, and yeah, it's nice.
It worked out super well for you at the end of this season. You may not have had the absolute story of dominance of some other drivers Jorg Mani have had throughout this season, but it was just an expertly crafted season for you. Not really getting the like stupid amount of wins that some others have had, but just being there at the front, always being consistent, and really proving that in this Spec Racer Ford series, just being a consistent contender, a consistent force at the front of the field can really make the difference come time for the championship fight.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Lots of young kids full with strength, and we, the old guys, trying to keep up with them. So, yeah, but it's cool. Yeah, as you said, was consistency was the key, and yeah, I could have had a bit more wins if I didn't do the mistakes already mentioned before. But in the end, yeah, was fun. Was a fun season, anyways.
It was a very fun season from my perspective, being in the commentary booth, just a consistent force from the drop of the green flag at Bathurst all the way through to the fall of the checkered here at Road Atlanta. I want to ask you about your thoughts heading into season 2 of 2025. Are you going to be back? And if you are you going to be eyeballing a championship defense?
Yeah, the plan is to take part on the next season. If I can win it again, yeah, we have to see, because as you mentioned, I mean, I was consistently in the top 5, top 3. I didn't get that many wins. I don't know, two wins, I think. So yeah, if guys like Panero or Gaspers or come up, or if Sol and Trenton, if they get any faster, they will beat me almost every time. So let's see how it goes. And Mauricio also, I don't know if he's doing the full season next season. So
Hey,
it
Felix,
won't
I
be
want to.
easy. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I want to stop here and shout you out for your season this season, and it was a great season to watch. And I want to personally thank you for how you handled everything that went on this season, man. Like, that means a lot, especially to people like me who, for now, own Slow Motion Broadcasting, but after today will not. So I want to thank you so much for how you handled everything that went on throughout this season. You not only are a fast driver, but you seem like a very, very calm-tempered, mild-tempered guy, and was able to handle. I'm going to bring up Suzuka. You and Mauricio handled that about as well as anybody could have handled anything that happened like that. So, Felix, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from Joshua Wilkie, from myself, from Ron Maunz, anybody who, now Stevie Ray, anybody who owns or has a thing in slow motion broadcasting. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, thanks. It was, it's you also a bunch of very nice guys. So, and Mauricio is a gentleman. He always has been, as he mentioned. Yeah, we've been racing for so long. It was unfortunate what happened there at Suzuka, but we are good. So.
Yeah, you guys handled it very well. We do have a question in the chat as well from Mr. Jorg Mani asking Felix, can you cook?
Yeah, I can, but I don't particularly enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, I think that may have been where Monty was coming from, that, Ron.
Yeah, but potentially that I would certainly not rule that out at all. But I gotta say one more thing as well, Felix. Kind of talking about the competitor that you are. A couple of weeks ago, actually, it was Monday of this week. I celebrated 2 years as a broadcaster, and I think some of the first races I was doing with a different broadcaster that will not be mentioned by name. Apex. You were a driver in the Radical at the time Radical Racing Challenge. I remember getting to know you as a driver then, and now getting to the point where I am with this series and seeing you win the championship here. It's very nice that all throughout going through my broadcasting career from back then, when I really put in commentate worth a damn. So now where I still really can't, but I make it seem like I do. It's been nice to see you out there on track all throughout, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll see you back again for season 2 of 2025 and get that title defense on as well as you possibly can, Felix. But I will let you go and pop the champagne and celebrate this championship. After one more question, Felix, is there anybody you want to give a thanks to or shout out?
I mean, again, as usual, to everybody taking part in the Weekend Warriors, that makes the Sunday evenings fun. My teammates Ben Rykov, he had a very good season. Also, we winning the Spec 2. Yeah, and you guys in the commentary booth. It's always fun to. I mean, even when I don't race, to watch the broadcast or after the race, rewatch it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, Felix, it's Stevie Ray. I just want to add my congratulations to you for winning the Spec 1 championship. Great season. And yeah, you've been around a long time. Always good to see you. Hope to see you next season, bud. Congrats.
Thank you very much. I will be here. Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing back on the track. Felix, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary booth, and congratulations on the championship.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work.
And we certainly will do that, and
Right.
hoping he will as... Oh,
Oh no! See, I'm doing things here, Ron. I'm messing it up.
Boy.
I'm messing it up.
Oh, you fool!
It's okay. It's his first time.
I'm going to guess there's a glass of something to drink right there beside him.
There's been quite a few glasses. My wife went out and got a glass of things we can't talk about. But Ron,
Yep.
geez, see, now we're talking about this. Randall, I think we've got a Spec 2 winner that we got to talk about here.
Absolutely. Ben Rycroft, congratulations on the Spec 2 win. We just heard Felix shouting you out for all the help you provided him. Tell us about your race today and tell us about your season overall.
Well, thank you for having me. My race today was just terrible. I didn't really feel it at all. I don't know whether it was this track I didn't agree with or the setup or what, but I really struggled. Everyone was just really quick today. So, but the season, I think obviously it's gone well. But yeah, I think I just won it based on the fact that I've participated a lot, I guess. But yeah.
You see it a lot in these leagues where they have multiple divisions, that this second division tends to be decided more on consistency than on race wins. I don't remember speaking to you many times throughout the season, so it doesn't take many races to win a championship. So what can you say towards consistency, and how have you achieved it this season?
Just a lot of practice. I don't do a lot of racing outside of practicing for this particular race, so it gives me something to focus on. It's quite enjoyable. I've really enjoyed this whole championship.
So practice is your key to consistency. Do you ever worry about maybe over practicing or trying spending too much time on track, or is it every moment you can get you like?
No, I really enjoy it. I wouldn't say definitely wouldn't say over practice, but I just I think it's just making sure that you get that time in the car and a feel for it, and I think that's what's helped me. Yeah.
Well, no win today, but a championship, so the real victory came your way. Before we let you go celebrate, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just all you guys. Shout out Felix. Yeah, we've been racing together for a while, and all my mates watching. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a few mates in here, Ben, by the way. It sounds like Vincent said, go, Ben. You've also got Mr. the one, the only Felix Amo is shouting you out as well. And now that I know it's Team 116, every time I see you guys on track, I see the 116 on the side. So both you and Felix are the car number 116, if you ask me at this point.
Thanks. Yeah, I'd love to be able to get to a point where I could race alongside, but I think even more practice required to get to that pace.
Hey, man, Stevie Ray. Sorry, Randall. Just want to wish you a congratulations for winning the Spec 2 championship this season. it may have been consistency on your part, but I think that 7 or 8 of the top drivers in the Spec 2 all had 9 races, so they were all there fighting you. So congrats on a great season, and look forward to having you around more.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Well, we'll let you go celebrate this championship, Ben, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you a bit next season.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to participate next season. I'm moving house in a week's time, but I'll be back.
Well, Ben, I do have to give you more shout-outs here. Of course, right when I mentioned your name, everyone comes out of the woodwork here that's watching this broadcast right now. We've got Benjamin Chin, Matt Taylor, Jason Erlinson, all saying love, love, love you. And Matt Taylor said, I'm forced to be here every week to watch you guys. So
absolutely
all
is.
of these... all of these people here now just come out of the woodwork here. Congrats, Ben, on your Spec 2 championship. We didn't talk to you that much this season, but like Randall said, it really doesn't matter that much. Congrats again on your Spec 2.
Thank you all.
That was Ben Redcroft, your Spec 2 champion. Now Adam is just absolutely chomping at the bit to talk, so I'm going to talk for a couple more seconds just to annoy him. Okay, Adam, over to you.
Oh, yeah, okay, it's fine. You're a Marine, Randall. It's fine. All right. We're going to bring in Jason Green. We're going to bring in Jorg Monty, and we're going to bring in Sul Al-Shootwi. We're going to bring all 3 of these drivers in at the same time. The reason I want to do this is, Stevie, you're in here as well. And first of all, before I go any further, there are 4 people in here now that have pushed me to a point that I didn't think I could get pushed to. We've started our own race team here. Jason Green is obviously a very, very big part of slow motion racing that we have started. And Jorg Monty and Sul Al-Shootwi, obviously the first people that we had join the team there in slow motion racing. So first of all, I want to thank all 3 of you for allowing me a chance, an opportunity while I get out of slow motion broadcasting to still be part of the Weekend Warriors. So, Stevie, first of all to you, man. It's been a lot going on in the past 7 months, as you know. You came out here, you came out to see myself and Sarah. You had no idea who I was. You joined slow motion broadcasting. You were looking for a broadcaster. We become a very, very, very good duo, I think, and very close friends, man. So, Stevie, at the risk of getting extremely emotional here, I want to thank you so much for everything you've done for me and Sarah. And I've said it multiple times, but Stevie, slow motion broadcasting, I don't think would be a thing without the Weekend Warriors, and slow motion broadcasting itself would not be a thing without you. After what have gone down in the past few months, I'm dealing with a pregnancy. I'm dealing with a high-risk pregnancy, in case anybody didn't know, and dealing with work as well. As I'm moving up through work, I'm now a DCC of my airplane. So, Stevie, with you coming in and being able to take control of slow motion broadcasting until Joshua Wilkie got here and was able to do things that we all expected slow motion broadcasting would do, there are way too many things for me to thank you for, Stevie. So I want to thank you first and foremost for everything that you've done.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, don't know what to say. It was a good move to move over here, and it just clicked right off the bat. I could tell that. We were right down the line with each other, and just hit it off. Both of us being, well, you being current Air Force, my previous Air Force and racing background, we just clicked. And yeah, it was great to get out and meet you. And very honored to call you a friend as well. It was great to be able to step in and hold it going for a while till Joshua got his feet in and wet and learned and up to speed. And like you said, he's just really taking it and going, and I can release that and let him go and kind of concentrate on the Ray Esports stuff and watch you guys with the slow motion racing. I haven't been able to participate yet. Keep wanting to, and things got in the way, but hopefully one of these days I will, or I'll prove myself too slow and just watch you and support you. But thanks to each one of you guys that pulled in, Jorg, Jason, the professor, Saul, you guys making part of the team. Yeah, I'm going to have to back out here, but huge thanks. And the community is just like this. It wouldn't be what it is for this league and this broadcast company without the community, and you guys make it what it is. So thank you.
Yeah, we got to talk about the community for half a second here before I get to the people that are actually in this chat right now. The community, Stevie, that you have built is unbelievable to me. I've run cross series league racing now for about 5 years, and the community that I have compared to the community that you have is just unbelievable, Stevie. And again, I look up to you as a mentor, and I hope one of these days that I can have all of these people talk about me the way they talk about you, Stevie. So you are doing a great job. So I thank you very much. But moving on here, I have got to talk to Mr. Jason Green. Jason, you're not a guy, and I didn't do this yesterday, but I'm going to do it now, Jason. Jason, you're not one of those people that really look for praise. You just hang out. You do all of the instant reviews every week for all of these Weekend Warriors races. And dude, I need you to understand, even in XSLR, you're coming out, you're hanging out after the races. The amount of, I guess, dedication that takes, and I know you've got your own life as well. I want to thank you, Jason, for not only being dedicated, but again, like I told Stevie, I can tell you too. I haven't met you yet. I will. Don't worry. And there's probably going to be a baby Aspen when I meet you, Jay. Well, there's not probably. There will be a baby Aspen when we come down to Texas to see you and Stevie Ray. But yeah, man, it's a lot, Jason. It's a lot for me to try to thank you for. So I'm just going to say thank you for everything you've done for me within the past 6 months, man. It's a lot, dude. And I just want to say that I haven't known you for over a year now. But you are an absolutely, I would say, you're almost a statue. You're a huge figure here in the Weekend Warriors and slow motion racing, in the racing line. We couldn't do it without you, man. So I thank you so much, and I thank you for being such a great friend and hosting all of the things that you host.
Very quickly to tag on, Adam, the Weekend Warriors, the racing line, slow motion racing would not be what it is without Jason Green. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's just try to do my part. It's a team effort. Everybody, like you say, Stevie. Everybody who joins is what makes the leagues and the team what it is. So yeah, shout out to everybody that joins us as well each weekend.
Is that it, Jason? That's all you got to say?
He's going to say it Tuesday.
Yeah, I was going to say, I told you this guy, he doesn't like the praise. He doesn't like the praise, but I know somebody who definitely doesn't like the praise because this is the first time I've talked to you, Sewell. Sewell, first of all, congratulations again on your win this morning or this afternoon. Now, I have no idea what time it is, but guys, I've been drinking a little bit. It's fine, though. Sewell, I want to thank you. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to thank you, first of all.
You cover it so well.
I want to thank you, first of all, for coming in here, obviously being a part of slow motion racing as well. You guys, our first outing again at Bathurst. So I had no idea who you were. Jason told me about you, and now I'm watching you win a race here, and you've got Sebring coming up in a couple weeks. So obviously, Jason and Sewell are very, very good friends, but they're coming over to the dark side here in slow motion racing. So Sewell, thank you so much for making that jump.
Yeah, thank you guys for the good racing. Great community, actually. It was fun racing with you guys.
All right, and now to Jorg. Mr. Monty, I spent 12 hours with you at Bathurst, okay? And some of the conversations we had are conversations I cannot repeat about the things that were talked about during 12 hours at Bathurst, and I hope to have more conversations like that with you, Jorg. I am going to come out to Switzerland one of these days, and I hope you've got at least a room open for me and my wife, because we are going to come out to Switzerland, and I'm going to come find you. If you don't give me your address, I know people, Jorg.
I will give it to you. You're always welcome. You and your wife and your little baby, when it's there, it's all welcome.
Yeah, absolutely, Jorg. I want to congratulate you, especially on your Masters win. Are you going to move up to Spec 1 next season? I know this is like a pushing point here. Are you going to move up to Spec 1? Because you should, by the way, Jorg.
I don't know.
You should.
I'm not the admins of this group. I have no clue.
Oh, no, you know. You can make that move if you want to, Jorg. You know that.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I said already, Stevie, I actually don't care. As long as I have fun, I don't care where I'm at. If I'm in S1 or S2 or whatever, the Masters, I actually don't care. I just want to have fun.
Well, I think we're all having a blast here, obviously getting to know you a little better here. And now there are a couple people here in... you guys can leave if you want. You can stay. This is fine. There are a few people here in Slow Motion Broadcasting that have come to the front here recently, other than Randall. Randall's a Marine. I'll talk about him just a little bit later. But Ron Maunz and Guido Marzucchi. Guido, I met you about 6 months ago, like I met everybody else in here. And Guido... is your mic hot? Oh, it's not hot. So, yeah, he doesn't have anything to say. That's fine. Guido, you're Italian. It doesn't matter. You have nothing to say. But, Ron, dude, I don't know where Slow Motion Broadcasting would be without you. I need you to understand that, Ron. You coming in and taking over all of these leagues that have taken over, that we have brought in, I don't know where we'd be. I don't know if we'd still be a thing without you, Ron. And I need you to understand, you taking that jump. I know there were some things that went down with Apex a couple weeks ago, and you relying on Slow Motion Broadcasting to be there. And I want you to know how much it means to me. I know that you're going to go bigger places in Slow Motion Broadcasting. And I think Joshua Wilkie can echo this sentiment, and I think Stevie Ray can as well, that it means a lot, dude. I don't know where we'd be without you.
I appreciate that, Adam, and I will say, kind of talking about how I got started here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, everyone knows that last year there's a swap from Apex to here. I got brought along for the ride here on to Slow Motion Broadcasting. When that swapperoo happened, I lost about 89% of my broadcasting commitments. And I'm not a person that comes from money. I don't have another job outside of broadcasting. This is what I do for a living. Is it a stupid idea? Yes. Does it make a lot of sense? No, not really. But is it what I do? Yes. And when all of that went down back in June, I really thought that I'd hit the end of the road as a broadcaster. I wasn't with any other companies outside of Apex. I went from having so many shows a month to only just having one, if that. And I thought I'd hit the end of the road. And truth be told, I don't really know where I would be if Stevie, if you didn't decide to bring me along in this trip. Adam, if you didn't take a shot on a guy who hadn't worked on a broadcast outside Apex and bring me over here. And if Guido, if Randall, if Josh, and everybody who's worked behind the scenes on these broadcasts all season long weren't here to keep me going, I don't really know where I would be as a broadcaster. I don't know what I would be doing outside of this stuff. So from my side to yours, Adam, thank you for bringing me along. Because as much as you say that I may make a career as a broadcaster, all of it could have ended if you didn't extend that olive branch back in June. And for that, I will be eternally grateful.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't me that extended that olive branch. And we talked about this, Ron, before we went live. It was Stevie that extended that olive branch to you. I had already had people lined up. And Stevie, Ray, again, Stevie does not like the, let's be honest, he doesn't like the praise. But Stevie, you are the one that kept Ron here. Which is another massive shout out to you, because we had already had people lined out and then things didn't work out and immediately Ron came into play. So, Stevie, as many things as you don't like me to say about you, even though you're from Texas, which is an okay thing, I guess, Stevie, from Oklahoma first, but those are a few places that I haven't lived. You're still a pretty good guy, Stevie, and what you've done for Ron, I think, and like what Ron just said, is massive, and massive. Thank you so much.
Once again, it's hard to say, but yeah, appreciate you guys. Ron, it was a no-brainer for me. You supported us and called the action, and everybody loved you over there when we were there, and when we moved the Weekend Warriors over here and needed some help on the broadcast, it was just a no-brainer to let Adam know, hey, check this guy out, and that's what he did. So I think it was as much Adam as anything. So appreciate that as well.
A person that I need to shout out before I get to Randall, because that's when I'm going to start getting a bit emotional here, is Charles Bichelle in the chat. Charles meowed, by the way, in chat. Charles is not right now in slow motion broadcasting, but Ron, I hop into your RES broadcast every Wednesday night, and I have to give you at least a meow, right? And Charles Bichelle is part of those broadcasts. And if you guys haven't watched the intro video yet for slow motion broadcasting for both of these races, for the FF and the SRF, there are quite a few people that I needed to shout out. I had to change some names in there, but yeah, please watch that. Those are all of the people that have been part of slow motion broadcasting, and a few people that I need to shout out outside of Charles Bichelle and JR Gregory, who I have not talked to, and I may not. But yeah, it's going to be Robert Schwenkler, first and foremost. Robert Schwenkler, if you ever watch this, man, I couldn't get this off the ground without you. And to see where it's going and to see where it goes, I hope it just absolutely explodes after I'm gone. Jimmy Howard is another driver or another person that I will never watch this broadcast because Jimmy's Jimmy. And then I'm coming to you, Randall. Dude, son of a bitch, here it comes. You took a trip from Indiana to Arizona to help me move from Nevada or from Arizona to Nevada. Like, that's something that nobody would do. You know that, right? Like, you spent
and nearly
14
suffered
hours
a heat
in a
stroke.
U-Haul.
Nearly suffered a heat stroke.
Almost suffered a heat stroke while we're moving stuff out of my storage unit in Arizona to Nevada to go see my wife that I hadn't seen in 2 months while Sarah's living with Jimmy. I need you to understand how much that means to me. I met you through American Muscle Series, dude, through slow motion broadcasting, and you thought that I was an okay enough guy to spend 14 hours in a U-Haul with. Dude, I need you to understand how much that fucking means to me, Randall. I'm sorry, Stevie. I just said the F-bomb.
Sis boom ba.
But sis boom ba, as Ron says. I need you to understand how much that means to me, dude.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good guy, huh?
Even though you were in the Marines... Even though you were in the Marines, you're an okay guy. I will say that. So, Randall, I need you to understand, no matter what happens here, no matter... we're going to be friends for the rest of our lives. And, yeah, man, this is a big change for me. Obviously, moving out of slow motion broadcasting completely. After we get done with this broadcast, you're not going to see a red name in SMB for me anymore. So, to all of the people, especially you, Randall, God damn it, man. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me.
Hey, that's what friends are for, dude.
Yeah. 100%. Ron, get us out of here.
Yeah, I will bring this rather heartfelt end of the broadcast after a brilliant race from start to finish, a brilliant season from start to finish as well here for Season 1 of 2025 for the Weekend Warriors. We got some more stuff coming up, though. In fact, coming up in just 1 week's time, we've got the action from the Week 13 Weekend Warriors V Runoffs, the 44th running of the event. We don't know what tracks we're running at. Will Stevie and Josh do? I do not. I don't think any of us do. So even after bribing Josh with 77 bottles of maple syrup, he is not going to spill those secrets. So you'll have to stay tuned for that broadcast in 1 week's time to try and figure out what the Formula V, Formula Ford, and Spec Racer Ford drivers are going to have to tackle. I just want to raise one more point about all this. This season has been absolutely fabulous to be a part of. Randall, it's been great being with you in the commentary booth all throughout this season. Adam, as I said a couple of moments ago, always good to have been with you on these broadcasts, and I wish you, Sarah, and your soon-to-be baby girl Aspen nothing but the best in the future. And fingers crossed, I'll be able to meet you, so you'll be able to judge my red hair instead of Randall's. But for one final time from the Weekend Warriors here for Season 1 of 2025, I think that will just about do it. So for myself, Ron Maunz, Randall McGrew, joining me in the commentary booth, Guido Marzucchi, working on the cameras in the virtual production hauler, and Adam Thompson, who made this fantastic broadcast company and my broadcasting home possible, I say thank you all so very much for watching this season. Have a great rest of your day. And Adam, it's been a pleasure, man. We hope to see you around.
Me yow.